Our latest design over at the Florida Maquis Mask Store comes to us as the result of a suggestion from a viewer. Corum Deo is a Latin term meaning in the presence of God. I'm sure many who see the mask won't understand what it means, so it's an opportunity for a conversation. And I'm sure they'll probably divine from the design of the mask that it's a Christian term, but what it exactly means gives the wearer an opportunity to witness Jesus Christ. And when we can do that, we can take the idea of wearing a mask and use it for an opportunity for good like this. I think it's something we can't pass up. I did something a little bit different with this mask. I've done it with others, but I haven't really advertised it. The image that you're seeing is actually overlaid onto the color of the mask, unlike the other ones like the gas mask and the reptilian mask and the Halloween masks. Those are all over print, meaning that there's no underlying color underneath the design. What you're seeing is just what it is. And let me show you what I mean here. With this particular mask, there are 6 colors, white and black. So if you like it in this particular lighter shade of blue, you can get that, but you can also get gray. You can get it in pink or green. Of course, the standard white is always a favorite. I'm not sure if I care for the red much, but it's available. And then there's a darker navy that kind of makes the leaf a little bit more subtle. And then, of course, the standard black. So you have 8 options here. So this is something a little bit different than other masks. I have it marked down $1 or $2 so that it saves some people some money. Would definitely like to see a lot more of these masks out there because, especially with the upcoming election, standing for your values, representing your values, is going to make a difference. It really is. It's our 39th mask, which to me is just absolutely, I'm not sure where the inspiration's coming from, but in this particular case, it was you guys. And I count on you guys and lean on you guys. So many of you have showed up over at the Twitch channel. Just in 11 days, we're up to 260 followers and growing every single night. Last night was a very exciting night. I'd like to share a clip from you. We took on a fortress that was probably a little bit too powerful for us to deal with. We made it a good fight, but right before we got to the end, things didn't really go our way. So I just want to play a clip of how this all plays out. Let's see who this guy is.
Corum is a long way from here. Won't be no help coming. Only death. You came here as traitors, and you'll leave here as smoke and ash. You'll burn to nothing. Fuel for Sauron's endings. With your permission, sir. They think their fancy fort can keep us at bay. We'll see how well their machines work once we clog them up with blood and guts.
Thank you, Bengal. Here we go. Let's see if that... So as you can see, there was a quick shot of Mount Doom in the background there. A lot of excitement. 3 hours every single night, starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time and running till 11:15, sometimes a little after. It's nonstop like this, and the scenery, the backdrop is absolutely epic. Ask anyone who's been there down in the comment section. It is the most detailed game as far as the scenery goes I've ever seen in my life, and that includes God of War, the Elder Scrolls, all of the games that I've ever seen streamed or played online or personally played myself. There's nothing like this. The clouds look real, the moon looks real, even down to the blades of grass. The interaction with the characters is unique. We've been going at it for 30-something hours, 11 nights, about 3 hours a night. Every night's different. Every night is different. So, anyway, that's over at Twitch, of course. And on top of that, we have the live interaction. Ask me a question about anything. Anything, and I'll respond to it. Last night we talked about some things later on that was, if I had even mentioned them here, the topics, here on YouTube, that would have been the end of my channel. End of my channel, just mentioning the topic. And we're able to talk freely about that over at Twitch. So, anyway, and like I said, keep growing, we keep growing, more and more people. Would love to see you there. Following is free. All you gotta do is click the follow button, and you can watch on your phone. Subscribing is the same thing as subscribing at YouTube. It's $4.99. So anyone who wants to cancel here at YouTube, please do. Please do. Cancel your subscription here at YouTube and just go over to Twitch. Would much rather have the money go to a platform that actually values freedom and free speech than have it go to this particular one. So, speaking of valuing freedom, by the way, I would like to talk about this issue with Venezuela and these tankers. There's a lot of confusion because DC, not the US, DC likes to change the meanings of words to make you think something happened that didn't. DC says it seized 4 Iranian fuel shipments headed for Venezuela. Nothing was seized. Nothing was seized. What happened was, there were 4 tankers headed for Venezuela, Liberian flagged with Greek crews. They threatened Greece. DC threatened Greece with financial sanctions if they didn't hand over the ships. So in essence, they extorted a foreign government that had nothing to do with this tete-a-tete between DC and Iran and Venezuela and all this kind of stuff. They had nothing to do with it. They were an independent shipper. And that's what happened. They just literally went in and changed the destinations of the ships. Now there's also sorts of talk about boarding parties. None of that happened. None of that happened. All they did was just change the destination. The captains of those freighters, their careers are over. Nobody is going to hire them. No, they're done. I hope they got a hell of a payday for it. Because no, they'll never get a job again. Because who would do that? Who would say, this captain of this boat, this crew, all DC had to do was just make a threat to sanction the government, and they just changed the destination. Now, I ask you again, those of you who still believe it's evil, terrible, horrible socialism that caused the collapse of Venezuela, if that's the case, why would you need to do this? Why would you need to seize fuel shipments? Why would you need to sanction governments doing business with Venezuela? There was a story years ago about there was a food shipment from Colombia. It was actually in port in Colombia. It was coming from another place. I believe it was Mexico, actually. And the ship had to stop in Colombia, and DC ordered the Colombians to seize that ship. And it was full of food products for the people in Venezuela. And they run out this garbage story about socialism causes starvation. I guess in a roundabout way it does, because if you have a social democracy that Washington, D.C. and Big Oil doesn't like, and that it costs Big Oil profits they think they're entitled to, well, yeah, because of their reaction and their sanctioning of government after government and business after business, the food shortages will pile up, and that roundabout way will cause starvation, but not directly. It doesn't directly cause it. That we are now in mid to late, I guess, 2020. All this nonsense started back in 14? 15, 6 years down the road? Maduro's still president. There are no daily uprisings. There are no daily calls for overthrow anymore, like we were supposed to believe. Where are all the... Funny how you don't get... no problem getting the pictures of the quote-unquote starving masses of people out of Venezuela, but we also don't have any pictures of heavy-handed militaristic government keeping the people down and keeping them from protesting. We have more visuals of that here in the United States than we ever had from Venezuela. See, this lie about Maduro using the power of the military to keep the people in line is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And this latest story proves it. Once again, why would it be necessary to steal 1,000,000 barrels of fuel and reroute it to Houston if evil, terrible, horrible social democracy all fails by itself, all on its own? Why would sanctions of any kind have been necessary? And this isn't just a Trump thing. This isn't a Trump thing. This was a Bush thing. This was a Obama thing. This was a DC government thing. And believe me, if it wasn't for BLM, defund the police, and the direct threat to our civilized society, I'd still be saying, sit this one out, parentheses R, parentheses D. No difference. In this case, there is. In this case, there's a huge difference. So if you have a wife, a sister, a niece, a mother, that you want to feel safe, there's only one choice. There's only one choice. And do I think the man's perfect? No. I really don't like the party he represents. Wish he would have ran, parentheses I, independent. But that's another story for another day. And he's acted a great deal like a libertarian in the sense that he's allowed Florida to make the decisions that Governor DeSantis and the people of Florida think are correct for us. And as we can see the contrast, look at Michigan. Don't agree with Gretchen Whitmer. Most people don't. But once again, let Gretchen Whitmer do what Gretchen Whitmer wants to do. And then let the people of Michigan let her know when her reelection comes up how disappointed they are in her. Same thing what's going on in Seattle. Same thing in Chicago. They are the best advertisements for the reelection of Donald Trump. Leave them alone. And like I said in another video, leave them to the mother-loving rats. Let them burn. Do nothing. They're just ads tailor-made for the reelection of the president. Because it'll show you what happens when the parentheses D get in charge. You can see it literally on the ground. It's not an allegation. It's not a theory. It is what is right now actually happening in Seattle, in Portland, in Minneapolis, in Chicago, in New York. There's even rumor out there, and I can't confirm it yet, that New York State might be on the table in the upcoming election. Yes, that's right. Believe it or not, things got so bad there and so many people left that the state of New York, there's a chance it could swing to the Republicans in the presidential election. No lie, there is rumor that there's internal polling up there that's got the Democrats terrified. And I'm sorry about the focus in and out here. It's just the camera I'm using. This is the only choice. This is absolutely the only choice. Rents and vacancies in the state of, or in the city of New York are at an all-time high. Property values have tanked up there. And down here in Florida and in the South, everything's getting back to normal. Everything is starting to roll again. The machine has started to work, and that's what people are going to vote on. And this. They're going to vote on this. Because you can't You can't demonize 800,000 people. Who are those 800,000 people? The 800,000 people are the law enforcement officers across this entire country. And that's what they've done. Even the police unions, for the first time in history, have flipped. They're no longer endorsing a parentheses D. They're endorsing Donald Trump. Because of this. Now take 800,000 people and then add in a mother, add in a father, add in a brother, a sister, a wife, a husband, a child. The amount of votes that just got swung based on this topic alone, BLM, defund the police, are in the millions and millions. There are a lot of long-time parentheses D voters because they're part of police unions, and they're now Trump voters. This is what's coming. This is what's coming. So, anyway, I will leave it there. God bless. Join us over at Twitch. It is a lot of fun every night. And if you have any questions about anything Venezuela related, Antarctica related, Pentagon Network related, anything, bring them up and I'll answer them directly. Like, share, subscribe.